You've been editing your story for years. What if the part that keeps getting cutting is the part that sets someone else free? The room does not need to be perfect. It needs to be true. Hey, I'm Theresa Croft. Welcome back for another edition of the Stuck No More Voices podcast. Really excited about our guest because we've got some things in common. But let me first introduce you. Jesse Cruz is an award winning international speaker, best selling author, and speaker coach for leaders. As the founder and CEO of Merge Worldwide, Jesse empowers diverse audiences to amplify their voices and share their stories in powerful, authentic ways. So, will you please help me welcome Jesse Cruz? Jesse, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for having me.
Yeah, so I mean, no rhyme or reason, but I want to talk you to share with us. We both have something very much in common, maybe in different outlets of it, and that's your voice and your story. So, how did that become like something you really wanted to focus on, helping leaders share their story on stage? What kind of brought about that?
Yeah, I was going through a difficult season in my life, and the only thing that really got me through it was sharing my story that became very like therapeutic and healing for me. And
Yeah,
as I saw how that was radically transforming my life, I realized that if sharing my story can help me, I wonder how many other people need to share their stories.
that's
And
so
so then
good.
I invested heavily into speaker coaching and training and storytelling so I can help empower leaders around the planet to create different levels of impact, different levels of income by using storytelling.
You know what I love about that is so often our misery becomes our destiny. So when you're coaching these leaders, are you helping them craft their story for stage? Is that the main thing?
Yep, depends on the needs, right? So typically from the entrepreneurial standpoint, if they're looking to be on more stages, I'm helping them put together a signature talk, utilizing storytelling to get them on more stages so
So
they can
good.
grow their business. From an organizational standpoint, when they bring me in, like when I went and spoke for Boeing, it's helping train their leaders on how to leverage storytelling to build the culture.
That's awesome. So you're not only I did see you went to Boeing. What a great place to be able to empower the leaders there. So take us back, kind of take us back through that story of yours. The rough, the stuck, the feeling like you know you're trying to find a place, so to speak, kind of trying to find your calling. What were some elements of that story that might help someone listening right now?
Yeah, well, a lot of times when people go into deep pain, they feel isolated and nobody understands them. And then
Right.
once you slowly begin the courage to share your story, you will be amazed at how many people are connected to it. And in the beginning, it's scary to share that story. It's overwhelming. It's
Yeah.
intimidating.
Yeah.
And I realized that keeping my story to myself, which is what I actually planned to do in the beginning, was one of the most selfish things I could do.
Whoa.
Because once I started to share it with other people, I saw how it gave them permission to be authentic with what they've gone through
So
and
good.
not become a victim of your story, but to become a hero through your story.
Yeah. I think some people fall into this lie that they think their story is a liability when it's the actual thing. Like someone listens to you and they're like, oh, Jesse got through that, so I can. And I think this inside the story is so many, uh, how I like to say, fulfilling the calling that's on their life. So you work with a lot of different people and you help with their signature talk. What's some of your greatest joy when you see your students stand on stage?
One of my greatest joys is when I see my clients fully own their story and own their power
Yeah,
and have the courage to go after their dreams. A lot
yeah,
of time people hold back. So when I'm working with my clients, it's really helping them be set free from what they've gone through and then
yeah.
leveraging it in a way that really helps other people.
So you said there's got to be a level of healing for themselves where they're sharing a part of their story. I always believe you got to speak from your scars and not your wounds because your wounds are kind of make messes. So is that kind of the philosophy that you have of helping them get to that place where they can share their story?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've trained my speakers on over the years is you don't share a place from your woundedness, you share from a place
Good.
of your healing. because
So,
you don't want to be on stage turning this into a trauma dumping session.
wow.
Right, you can leverage that in maybe different settings. And so if the audience needs to see that healing is possible, they need to
Yeah.
see that growth is possible. And
Yeah.
that's why you got to get to a place to share your story from a place of how you overcame or how you're learning and growing through
Yeah.
that process.
So, in the process of speaking, I love to tell stories. My speaking career was kind of cut short last year with cancer, but when I started, I loved sharing stories and then wove in the points. So, are you trying to pull the story out of them and teach them how to use that like a signature talk or something?
Yeah, so there's a variety of different stories that the best speakers utilize. And so one of those stories is a signature story. There's
Uh-huh.
a few other stories I work with them on when we work together, but helping them build and craft a signature story that is marketable.
Yeah.
Because if you have a talk that's not going to have a demand, then you
Okay.
just have a really great talk that's not going to really help people. And so
Okay.
it's positioning your story in a way that the market has a demand for, so then you can get on more stages and lead more people.
So, what would be a value demand that would be a good signature talk? They would have value. What value are you talking about?
Well, the main value, I mean, it's really always going to depend on the audience, but the focus of the signature stories, main focus is it's designed to build trust and connection with the audience. And if you
Right.
can tie your story into their pain point, then you're really going to kind of connect with them because a lot of times speakers, they just want to share their story for the sake of sharing their story. But the best speakers know your story is just a tool. It's not the
Yeah,
outcome. It's you're using a story from your life to make a valuable point to help solve a problem for people in that room.
that's so good. How does like I like to use the storytelling a lot in my marketing and my wanting people to know me, trust me, and like me. I notice you on social, you pretty much how do you view social with your story? I'll just ask you that.
Yeah. So you've got to know your audience. A lot of times authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs, they're just putting out content and like I compare it to like throwing spaghetti in a wall and you hope it sticks,
Yeah.
right? And so they're posting without strategy, which creates stress.
Yeah.
But posting with the strategy can create success because they're understanding that there's certain types of content you want to post. You want to have your thought leadership type of content that showcases your expertise in an area. You want to have social proof content that's like testimonials, reviews, recommendations, things that you've accomplished and achieved in your industry. And then you want to have connection content. That's a third type of content where you're posting your daily life, your likes, your dislikes, your beliefs, for your values, your family, your friends, things that you do. And so you want to have a content cadence built around some of these stories. And that's how you build a personal brand.
I love that because that's exactly what I teach and what I see. There's someone out there that knows they have a calling to be on stage. What is their first step? Get in touch with you? What would you say would be their first step? They know they're called. They're like, I'm called to the stage, T. What do you say to that person?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll just share what not to do first. What not to do is just try to figure it on your own. That's the
Very
mistake I
good.
made.
Very
I
good.
avoided hiring a coach for years, and
Uh-huh.
because I wanted to save money. And so I did save money, but I lost something extremely more valuable, which is
Yeah.
time. I
Yeah.
lost 2 years trying
Yeah.
to save some money.
Yeah.
And it was a huge mistake that I look back, I'm like, man, how much further ahead would I have been if I had just invested into myself earlier on?
Yeah.
So that person out there who has this calling to be on stage, you just got to hire a coach, right? Whether it's me or somebody else, that's okay. But you just got to have someone that has already walked the path that you're looking to go on. So you know the shortcuts, the pitfalls, the setbacks. They can prepare you, they can guide your path more clearly. So you just got to get someone who can you can trust that can believe in you and support you along the way.
So agree with that as getting a coach. You have to invest. And if you don't want to invest, then like you said, it's going to take you a lot longer and you may not get to that point. So I'm a firm believer in investing for the skill. So it's nice to hear you say that. So I guess one thing I would say is someone signs up for you with you as a coach. You want to take us through a few steps, and definitely Jesse's link will be at the end of this podcast, so be sure to check it out. But so someone comes up and say, "Okay, Jesse, I want to hire you for my coach. What are those first steps?"
Yeah, it's going to depend on the needs of the speaker. because we offer a variety of different packages to meet the needs of the speakers. But most importantly, it's getting clarity on the problem that they solve, the
Okay.
audience that they serve, and their unique process on how they do it. Like, what is their 3 to 5 steps, right? So you
Okay.
got to know the problem you solve. You got to know the audience that you serve, and you got to
Right.
know your process, what makes you different, special, and unique. And so
Yeah.
you got to connect your story, build that into your signature talk, and then we got to show you how to do the marketing and the sales in your business to get your name out there and get you on stages.
That's so awesome. I see you take a lot of speakers with you on your speaking events. Is that kind of like a upper level type access to your coaching?
Yeah, I mean that's some of what our elite clients do is rather than spending years trying to find access to event planners who actually have
Oh,
budgets to book speakers and hire them. I
yeah.
shortcut that entire process. I bring the speakers with me. I do the warm introductions to the decision makers who are looking for speakers and have money to hire them. That's
And
gold because
Jesse,
rather
that's
than
such
I've spent
gold.
years getting
Yeah,
these relationships and I just
right.
hand them off to my clients and shortcut their process.
That is so huge. That's like someone giving you 500 leads in one place and I mean, that's huge. I noticed that what you do, and I think that's an upper class coach that does that. Let's talk about someone we both know, if I can. I love Paul Getter, so I've seen you on some of his stages. How is Paul Getter work with you, or you work for him? Or it's just
Yeah, he had
acquaintance?
me come speak at one of his events
Nice.
last year. And so,
Okay.
yeah, it was a great time. Got to pour into his audience. It was a good time.
So good. And one thing I like about Paul is he doesn't bypass his faith when he talks. Do you have some speakers that lean heavy on the faith word, or just on their story that may have some elements of faith? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I would say over 90% of my clients are heavily in their faith.
That's
That
cool.
doesn't mean they have a strong, doesn't always mean they're talking about their faith in their
Sure.
talks, right?
I
So
understand that.
some, events and organizations aren't looking for that, right? But
Right.
for the most part, all my clients are strong faith-based leaders, and
That's
you'll
awesome.
find that element weaved throughout their talks.
This has been quite a number of years. I was listening to a podcast. I was married, so there's a lot of control on what I could do. And my heart burned when the guy said, but I don't know if you call them bookers of speakers, looking for speakers. They're really looking for women who have a faith background, not that they're going to speak faith. And that was a number of years ago. So do you feel like is there a need for that, or is that just one of many needs that your people would like you to introduce speakers to? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see a need for that. There's a need for women. The majority of my clients are women. I love empowering women because they have such a powerful message and a voice, and they're very coachable.
Yeah,
In truth, we just need more women on stages,
that's
most
cool.
definitely.
That's a call for someone, because my audience is mostly Christian women. Uh, a lot of them are trying to fulfill, they know they have a calling, so the capacity for that calling to be visible. And I think what you just described is a good investment and a shortcut of years. I mean, if you're introducing people to those who book stages, that is phenomenal. Thank you for serving women and your clients so well like that. So I always ask one last final thing, Jesse. I appreciate you taking time as you're traveling. What's one thing from your heart that you want to share to really empower someone in regards to their story?
The story that you're often ashamed of
Mm,
is also the story that will advance you.
come on.
That's one thing I've learned along the way. The stories that I thought held me back the most are the same exact stories that pushed me the furthest. And
That's
so I encourage people to honor their story and what they've
mm,
experienced, and then leverage in a way that it does not become wasted pain. It turns into a huge purpose to serve
that's
other
so
people with.
good. So good, Jesse. I so appreciate you saying that. So, Jesse, what's the quickest way someone could get in touch with you? I'll have some links down below, but right now,
Yeah, for those looking to, for speaking inquiries or potential for coaching, they can go right to my website, jessecruzspeaks.com.
okay.
Or they could even send me a DM right on Facebook, Jesse Cruz. Those are the easiest
Okay,
ways to get a hold of me.
great. Well, I appreciate you so much taking time out of your busy weekend and traveling. Are you speaking on stage this weekend?
I am not. I'm speaking in about 2 weeks though.
Oh, great. Awesome. Awesome. I heard you were going like out of country, right? For that speaking?
Yeah, we have our legacy retreat in Italy
So
coming
cool.
up.
So cool. Well, thank you for your spirit of excellence. I believe you're making a mark in the speaking world of the way you care, the way you really help women craft their story and not leave their faith in the back seat. So thank you so much. And thank you for taking time with us. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Teresa.
All right. So if you want to get a hold of Jesse, please go to the show notes. And we are so glad that you are listening to the Suck No More Voices podcast.